Warning, this podcast contains Flash
Spoilers.
and Tricksters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for The Flash Season 1, Episode 7, Tricksters. I'm your host, Clio, and with me I have Dom, who will look for any word to say other than spoilers.
Yes, I will.
Any word.
Yeah, pretty much any word.
How'd you like this episode?
Okay, this one didn't make my head hurt.
Or did it? Because we're gonna see.
Maybe
We're gonna start talking about it, and I'm pretty sure. Because, like, I worked it out in my head, and then I'm like, last time I worked it out in my head, and then when we started talking, it blew up.
Yeah.
It exploded. So we get, like, 95% answers about Reverse Flash, Wells, Eobard.
Yeah.
Right? Would you say? That's a good guesstimate of how many answers we got this episode?
I'm pretty sure we called almost everything that happened in this episode, too, but not...
Except for fucking... literally stealing his face.
Yeah.
Motherfucker literally stole his face.
Because before this episode aired, I was sitting down and I knew that the previews and stuff I'd seen was going to reveal, like, the past kind of stuff. So we knew what was going to go on here. So I was like, I'm sitting there going, if he did steal his identity, how does he steal his identity without anybody realizing who it was? And I go, because there's the records of the car crash. And I'm like, he would have moved, but there would have been photos. And I'm like, I don't understand. And then this just answered everything. So yeah. It answered everything except for exactly why.
Yeah, that's about it. Exactly why.
But I think that the reason why is because his mother's death is the catalyst that turns him into the Flash. So yes. That's my speculation anyway. So I think that's why Reverse Flash went back to do that.
But his intention was never to kill Nora, and as we saw in the slow motion Flash fight, he wasn't trying to kill Nora. He clearly lunged at baby Barry. He was trying to kill little Barry.
Okay, now my head hurts.
There we go. See, I knew it.
No, because if he goes back in time and kills baby Barry, then what does that accomplish?
I don't know. Other than, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So maybe his intention was to kill Barry because in the future, Barry stops him from doing whatever he's got to do. So he figured the best way is to go into the past to stop Barry there before he could become the Flash. Therefore, he's able to achieve whatever he wants to achieve. But then in the process, he loses the Speed Force and then in turns needs Barry, which complicates things even more because he wants Barry to be dead and alive at the same time. He needs Barry.
So yeah, he needs Barry. But in this case, this now is starting to not make sense again because if he needs Barry to run and create the Speed Force that he then uses, why would he kill him?
Because he didn't lose the ability to use the Speed Force until after he tried to kill Barry. If you saw when he went to leave the house.
No, he only lost the...
When he left the house.
He only lost the ability after he failed.
Right. So
killing young Barry would have made older Barry disappear, and he still would have lost the ability to use the Speed Force.
But he didn't know that. He didn't know he was going to lose the Speed Force.
For being such a genius,
he didn't lose the Speed Force because of Barry. Him losing the Speed Force had nothing to do with Barry being alive or dead. It was what was the robot? The holographic thing? What was
Gideon.
Gideon said that the altercation used up the last of his energy, so it was just the
fighting.
The extreme fighting and all that. So if he killed Barry, he still could have used the Speed Force if he hadn't expended as much energy as he did.
But if that is the case, say he didn't expend all his energy, say he killed Barry, he killed little Barry, made it back to his timeline, he still would have lost the ability to use the Speed Force because he would have run out eventually.
Yeah. But he didn't know that.
He must have known. He's like
He
a
didn't.
mad
He
genius.
didn't, because he's going, what happened? Like, he's asking Gideon. He had no clue.
I can't imagine him being as smart as he is, not have calculated that.
I don't think it was even a concern.
Well, luckily my head doesn't hurt as much as 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or last week.
My headache's gone now. I'm good. So we sorted it all out.
We have some sort of grasp of what's going on. So yeah, I guess the specific why we're missing.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I was also gonna say, how would Barry? Well, yeah, no. How would Barry have known to catch Edebar before he became Wells? You know, like did they meet? Like, did our Barry meet, or is that future Barry that we just saw? Is that 2014 Barry?
I think
no, I'm sorry. Is that 2025 Barry?
So my theory is that it is our Barry that went to the future first.
So, so it's not even like old Barry. Oh, so
I think
2015 Barry goes centuries into the future.
Yes.
Fucks up Eobard's stuff, and then follows him centuries back.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
His mom dies. Okay, all right. That makes a lot more sense, because there's no way Barry would have lived a couple hundred years.
Yeah, unless Eobard went to Barry's timeline first.
Yeah, which that doesn't make a ton of sense.
Well, it kind of does, because he's interacted with Barry, but that's now in our timeline where he's already time traveled. So he could have done something to observe and then interfered accidentally and then fled home and had Barry chase him, but he wouldn't have wanted Barry dead if something hadn't happened already. So
yeah.
I think indirectly, I don't know. I think he had. I think two Wells have to. No, because it can't be two Wells, but because the timeline is forever changing. So I believe Wells went back into the present, bumped into Barry, which made Barry go into the future, or Barry just decided to go into the future because our present day Barry, is looking for the Flash or the Reverse Flash, where that present day Barry would not have been looking for the Reverse Flash. So I guess it depends on what happened in the original timeline, not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's where we're confused.
Yeah.
Because the timeline has changed.
Or yes, yeah. But has it?
I think it has.
Oh, I guess no.
Yeah, because
I guess it would have.
Eobard came back, so he changed things, and he knows about changing things because Barry had the whole changing things thing, and he knew exactly. He knew the symptoms. He called Barry out on it.
But would Barry have become the Flash without his mother's death?
He said, I don't know about the mother's death, but
because if none of that happened, then his mother didn't die that day, then father didn't go to jail, then he wouldn't have joined the police force.
Yeah, so it must have happened, but from what we are told in this episode, is Barry was not supposed to turn into the Flash at the point in which he turned into the Flash. He was supposed to turn into the Flash years later.
He still would have been a giant science nerd.
Right.
He just might not have been working for the police department.
Right. Not at the time of the accident, anyway. I don't know.
All right. Well, the time of the accident...
Because Barry was already working for the police before he was the Flash, so...
Yes.
He may have been.
No, but what I'm saying is that... If this was original timeline, Nora wouldn't have died. He wouldn't have had the urge to join the police force. But he still would have been a science nerd, so he probably would have done sciencey things. Might have led him to S.T.A.R Labs, been there at the particle accelerator explosion, been the Flash.
Unless he didn't work for S.T.A.R Labs and worked for Mercury Labs instead.
Maybe, but then he wouldn't have been the Flash. Would he have? I don't know.
think he would have.
I don't know.
It depends on, because I think the
I'm
only
not
reason that Wells named him the Flash is because that's what he's been called in the future. So he didn't want to change
Yeah.
too many things. He was just trying to speed up the events.
Okay, all right, yeah. So he would have become the Flash, but it would have been in a different manner. He wouldn't have been working for the PD.
Correct. Yeah, because Joe wouldn't have been his father. You know, not his real father,
Yeah,
but you know.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say something in the vein of, I'm not sure, unless it's through exposition, I don't think we're gonna get many concrete answers on original timeline things.
Probably not. I would like to see some format of it, not within the TV show, but be it a spin-off comic book series, a web series, webisodes, something would be cool.
There's a comic book series for this show called
is there?
Flash Season 0.
Oh, okay.
And it's sort of like small stories that happen in between episodes of Season 1.
Mm.
I've been meaning to check it out. I have not yet, because I suck. So there is maybe they'll address, I don't know, some of it in the comics. I don't know. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, when Eobard pulled down his mask and had a different face, I was like, hold on. I had another moment where I was like, was I wrong the whole time? How could I? Because this has happened to me 3 times now. It's like, we know.
I mean,
we know that Wells is the bad guy. But 3 times I've been like, am I wrong? I
looked at it quick, and then it was like just before a commercial break. And I was like, did I see that right? I go, or is that like a younger version of him?
I thought that for a split second too. I'm like,
did he dye his hair? And I'm like, hold on. And then I rewound the DVR and I paused it and I stopped on the screen and it clearly was a different face entirely. So I was like, okay.
But that also explains why. Remember, like, before there was face confirmation of Wells being Reverse Flash, where I was like, oh, it can't be Wells. The body type is totally different. It's because that's the body type of Eobard, not of Wells. So the suit is Eobard's size, but he's now Wells' size.
Right. And it also explains why the blood type doesn't match.
Yes.
So.
Because we can assume he absorbed his DNA. As when my mom saw it, she was like, this is some Fringe stuff. Like,
yeah.
They took that from Fringe. It's
pretty
like,
much.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, they didn't do that exact same thing in Fringe, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. That was freaky. It's like a car jacked himself to Wells. It's just like, oh, you sucked his essence. That's gross. Congratulations. And I mean, we've seen, like, in Wells's eyes, like, just this sort of inhumanity that Eobard has, but hearing him speak as Eobard, he's like, she's been dead for centuries. I literally don't care about anything. It's like, oh, you're a psycho. Good. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and it's cool to figure out, like, find out the reason S.T.A.R. Labs is named S.T.A.R. Labs, and, like, little things like that, and stuff that we didn't necessarily were looking for answers to, but we got them, and it was kind of cool. It makes me realize that there's so many things in this show that we have questions for that we haven't even asked yet, let alone the big questions that we're looking for answers on.
Yeah, and it's so weird to see Wells's face with, like, human emotion in it. I'm like, oh. He was a person.
He was a person, and he was a lot more nerdy than Barry was. That's for sure.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So.
Maybe on the same level.
Yeah, it's probably pretty close. Because don't forget when Barry was talking to the professor on the train, like, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was you're right. They're very similar sorts of interactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because probably in original timeline, Barry had met the real Wells, and they probably were friends, you know?
I mean, it's completely possible. I'm going to say that it's not. That's not what happened. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think he went for Mercury Labs and and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
you know,
Well-
I think it's just completely. I think it's a completely different timeline. So I don't think a lot of things because
Oh yeah.
Wells.
Everything from that point in 2000, everything from that point is different now.
Right. So I think
Everything.
Wells like intentionally sought him out and brought him in, and so I don't think that Barry knew Cisco and
No.
Caitlin and all these people. I think he was legit. Like not even he could have been running solo for all we know.
That's true.
I
But
doubt it, but yeah.
from early is it early in this season? Barry, oh yeah, the freaking first episode, Barry was all like nerdy, like, oh, S.T.A.R Labs, and it really made me feel like if he didn't work for the police department, he would be working for S.T.A.R Labs.
Yeah, I mean, we at the same time we don't know where S.T.A.R Labs would have been at this point in time because a lot of the advancements in technology was because of Wells's knowledge of the future. So
yeah, Eobard's knowledge of the future.
Oh yeah. But
yeah, no, but it probably would have happened by 2020 when it was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But I feel like what is the rival between S.T.A.R and Mercury? Like I thought Mercury and S.T.A.R were like a battle between like.
Well, I think it's just they're both very big science R&D companies, you know.
Yeah.
Like any two companies that are similar, they're gonna fight over.
Yeah,
You know,
the reason why
whatever.
I'm leaning more toward Mercury Labs is because of the fact that it's a different timeline. It just makes sense for the rival to be ahead in that one.
Mm.
So.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the only reason I keep defaulting
Oh, so you
on
think
Mercury
that
Labs.
you think that Mercury ends up building S.T.A.R Labs?
No, I think Wells had built S.T.A.R Labs,
Particle accelerator.
but it wasn't as advanced. I believe Mercury Labs was the more advanced of the two. I think Mercury was the S.T.A.R Labs of that timeline, you know, and Mercury, basically a flip-flop.
Yes.
I think they were more advanced in the technology than S.T.A.R Labs was.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Yeah, I figured we needed to talk about that first.
Yeah.
Forget about, the main stuff. Let's just get that out of the way. Because it didn't hurt my brain. I'm fine.
And actually this one is not hurting my brain at all. I think we logicked this one.
We have so many answers too now. I'm so happy. Cuz like I said, even though it's like you know it's Wells, they're still like making you doubt yourself and giving you still surprises.
No, I wasn't trying to think too hard on it because when I saw the different face and all that before the reveal, I was like, we're gonna find out by the end of the episode. So I didn't stress it too much.
Yeah, that is true. But I was just like, am I wrong again?
Yeah, I was gonna wait. If the end of the episode we didn't get an answer, then I would have been stressing my brain out. But yeah, I was like, all right, good, we got the answer. I'm happy.
Yeah. So the Tricksters were pulling a trick the whole time.
Surprise!
Did they trick you?
No.
They tricked me.
See, I know,
Listen,
like, because the whole Trickster thing was very Hannibal Lecter.
Yes!
So, it was just, I know what Hannibal Lecter is capable of, so I was like, there's no way the Trickster's pulling this on me. I mean, his name is the Trickster.
That is true. But I don't know, they come in and he's all like zen with like his feet wrapped around each other, and it's just like, you are meditating, sir.
I mean, he was very calm and collected like Hannibal too.
Yeah.
You know, Hannibal was that really like the very smart psychopath, but he was like very calm and collected at the same time. He was very calculated, which is exactly what the Trickster is.
You convince a psychiatrist to kill himself.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, why would you let two amateur cops, not amateur, but one amateur cop and one regular cop, you know?
I don't know.
I'm going to say they're amateurs compared to a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist. Because psychiatrists should know better than a police officer not to let mind games fuck him over like that. And then you're just letting two police in after knowing this? I don't
know, I guess.
I don't know.
I thought the Twizzlers thing was so funny.
The Twizzlers was great.
You're gonna need these.
The Twizzlers was great. Didn't Hannibal want something too? It wasn't like food or anything. What was it?
I don't remember.
I think he just wanted to have like a chat with, right?
I watched that movie once in my life,
Yeah.
so I can't remember.
I think he just wanted conversation and
Yeah.
or information about the outside world or something. I don't remember.
A newspaper, maybe?
Yeah, maybe it was something like that. It's been about 10, 15 years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So
you're the old Joker. No, Joker.
Joker. Oh there you go.
I'm sorry, it's Mark Hamill. I can't help it.
I mean, it is DC, so
he's my
we'll
Joker.
let it slide.
Anyway, the Trickster, the old Trickster was like Hannibal Lecter, and the new Trickster is like the Joker because he was doing the vlogs, like, you know, Joker would do the
yeah,
hacking the TV broadcast that it'd be like, if you don't do this by midnight, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's a nice like role reversal because you would expect Mark Hamill to do that since he's the Joker, but
and they did it so perfectly because even when Mark Hamill laughed, it was not the Joker laugh. It was something completely different.
It had traces of the Joker in it because it's Mark Hamill's voice. You can't really change the voice all too much, but
I mean, you'd think that, but I've gone through whole cartoon series not knowing he's been in it.
Right.
So.
No, I get that, but I mean, I still heard traces of the Joker in it, but that's only because I was looking for them, and
yeah, that's true.
You know, but Mark Hamill was phenomenal in this, and just the fact he was so good in this gives me so much hope for Star Wars Episode 7. We've talked about so many other movies and stuff right now in this episode, it's ridiculous, but
yeah,
this episode of The Flash has me so excited for Episode 7, it's ridiculous.
And I mean, obviously, the writers were like, we get Mark Hamill in an episode, let's just have him do all the things. I mean, he told him, I'm your father.
Oh my god, that moment.
He said to the kid, I am your father. And I started cracking up, and I was just like, no, it's impossible.
That's not true.
I just started doing the whole scene.
Oh, it was so good.
My mom thought I was crazy.
It was so good. I was like, they did not just do this. I loved it, though. I loved it. It was like a disbelief of awe, not of it was like shock and awe, not disgust. So
yeah,
you know, it was great.
They did it really well.
Yeah.
He just slaps a wrist bomb on Barry, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you ever watch Speed? It's like, oh my god, it's a bomb on the Flash.
Oh, here we go, another movie.
I know, yeah. The list goes on. It's so, oh my god. It's like, gotta run.
What TV show did he watch in jail? I forget. What was? He said he got access to cable. He referenced something.
Oh, he referenced Game of Thrones.
Was it Game of Thrones? It was something else too, I think.
Huh?
There was something else too. He referenced Game of Thrones.
Oh no, I'm sorry, it was Breaking Bad. He made a
Breaking Bad.
Walter White joke.
Yes, Breaking Bad. That's what it was.
Cable.
And then I like.
They gave me cable so I'd stop killing guards.
As soon as he made the Breaking Bad reference, I was like, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. He was in, and then he answered it for me, and I was like, oh, thank you. Like, oh, that was great.
I'm like, you shouldn't get that reference.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a great job on that. Great job.
Yeah. And I really loved Barry and Joe in this episode because they had a lot of discussions mostly about Wells, mostly about Nora, and just Barry bringing it up. He's like, you may be right, Joe. I think you might be right.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, and I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but even the fact that they brought Eddie into this.
Yes.
It's just like I couldn't believe it. Like, he comes up to him and he's not even like changing his voice, and then he takes the mask off on top of it, and I just went, what did you do? So
well, I mean, Eddie recognized the voice, so by the time he was taking the mask off, Eddie was just like
Oh my god.
And like they both were like, Eddie, you gotta lie to Iris, and Eddie's like, fuck you, this is a bad idea.
Yeah, pretty much. But now so the first thing in my mind was not Eddie has to lie to Iris.
Yeah.
The first thing was now Eddie's not gonna buy that whole story that Caitlin just made up last episode about his lightning
That's true. But
thing.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah,
so I mean,
right.
this kind of puts the tension between them again.
Yeah.
Because if he's capable of being the Flash and he's spending time with Iris as the Flash, now Eddie's gonna be jealous of Barry and the Flash hanging out with Iris.
But that's not gonna be a problem when Iris learns the truth that all three of those motherfuckers are lying to her, and she's like, I want nothing to do with any of you. Bye. Because that's what's gonna happen. The truth is gonna come out, and she's like, you all lied to me? Go to hell.
Yeah, and then Barry's gonna, like, save her life, and she's gonna swoon. And either that or we're not gonna get the chance to see how this unfolds because Barry's gonna travel back and screw things up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there's... In both the Flash and the Arrow, there's gonna be a lot of lovey stuff that happens where I'm just gonna be like, huh. It's not what I want. All of the wrong people are getting together.
Well, I mean,
stop that. Stop it.
I mean, the on-screen romances and stuff. We really could have gone without a lot of it, this show, but unfortunately, it is what keeps certain viewers in. So they have to find a balance somewhere.
I know.
So.
I know.
I
certain
miss
tropes are just tired.
I miss Linda.
Miss Linda too, and some relationship tropes and like love triangle tropes are just so over them.
Mm-hmm.
So over them.
I'm curious now if Barry goes back and saves his mother, because that's kind of like the big overlying thing of how this is going to go down, and he travels back to the present. Like, the world's probably going to be different.
Yes.
You know, because he's not growing up again with her and getting to see that. He's just going to go back to present-day timeline, and things are going to be different. And, like, he very well could be back with Linda, and then...
Yeah.
Things are going to be all awkward because he's not going to know how to respond, and... I missed our date? What are you talking about, you know? Like...
Yeah, and I mean... That's happened in comics before.
Right.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Because when you change one thing, a lot of things in your life change.
Right. And then, I mean, like, because I understand where they're going with this version of the time travel, because this one they're replacing present day Barry. So, like, if Barry is, for example, Barry's the one that's time traveling, when he comes into the timeline, he's replacing the other Barry.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
I never thought of that as a version of time travel that could even exist. So I'm thinking that there's two Barrys running around in the timeline at the same time.
The way that I see it is that they're in the same moment for a second, and then the timeline splits.
Yeah.
And those two Barrys are still existing, but in two different timelines.
Yeah.
It's the timeline that splits. It's not the Barrys that merge.
No, I know. But I'm thinking, because the way I was looking at it was the Back to the Future kind of world where, you know, that's not the way this is going. This is going into parallel worlds instead of alternate worlds. So.
Yes.
Well, I should say alternate parallel. Alternate hyphen / parallel, you know. It is not just an alternate timeline. It is an alternate parallel timeline.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah.
They have so much room to make it even more complicated if they really want to.
We have Lee Silver in chat that mentions the Smallville season 1 episode 16. Jonathan Kent was listening to Good Old Boys. That's from when he was in Dukes of Hazzard. And
okay.
So, and I remember there was another episode midway through Smallville. I want to say around 5, 6, season 6 or whatever. I could be way off on that time because I watched it literally like in the span of 2 weeks, like the 10 seasons. Like I powerhouse through Smallville, but there was one where he actually like did the whole slide across, and the other dude from Dukes of Hazzard came in and guest starred, and it was like this crazy little like moment. I don't know. It was really cool. It's like this meta episode, but he was still Jonathan Kent, but he was also, you know, the his character in Dukes of Hazzard, just without the name changes. It was kind of crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of that, and DC likes to do stuff like that, especially. So
yeah, the
DC shows anyway.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I like when you can be like, you know, funny with it.
It's I almost want to say it's kind of like a CW thing too, because like Supernatural does that a lot. Like Supernatural's had some great episodes that involve things like that. For example, I know there was one with Sam Winchester making a House of Wax reference because he was in that movie, and you know, it's just like...
See, I didn't realize he was in that movie. Yeah. I remember the reference from Supernatural. I did not know he was in that movie.
Yeah, so funny. There's all little things, and CW is great for doing that. So
yeah. I wanted to mention something because I saw it come across Facebook in like this past week. Mm-hmm. And there was a mother who wanted to show her son that it's okay to cry. Like, it's okay for boys and men to cry. So she drew a comic book of superheroes being emotional. Mm-hmm. Like, in various different, you know, whatever, little coloring book things. And I think that's really important. And I think the CW is sort of doing that with Barry. Because Barry's mega emotional. And I would say...
He is.
60-40 split, he cries.
Yeah, because, I mean, like... That whole scene at the end that he had with Wells, and like he walked up and bit his tongue and thanked, you know, Wells for being a good father to him, or being like a father to him, and shook his hand and then like turned around, and it was almost like he was fighting back like anger tears.
You know, I mean, when like, he was talking to Joe about his mom, he started crying, and like every time he sees his dad in the prison. Both of them cry. Yeah. And it was funny because I was really thinking about that in relation to Arrow also, where Ollie is just like, no emotions, like totally, you know, shut down, like the typical sort of superhero. So I like that there's within this universe of like just vast difference of like emotions of these characters. And also the CW, also Arrow has been doing, a lot of, like, there's a hero who's a recovering alcoholic. There's a hero who suffered from PTSD when he went after he went to war. So
that's good.
Yeah, they even had last week in Arrow's episode, they had a PSA about Wounded Warrior Project, which I brought up. So it's I'm liking what they're doing with these shows. It's very good. Do you have anything else to say about this episode before we move on to the awesome promos?
Just need to reiterate again how amazing Mark Hamill was.
So good.
I'm still, like, just the fact that they got Mark Hamill back is, I'm refusing to let go of the theory that the other version of The Flash existed, and, like, the original TV show is part of the canon. They got altered in the timeline somehow. Yeah. And I'm hoping there is some way that they can tell us that story.
And I mean, honestly, they don't even need to say it. They just need to maybe Eobard, when he's doing a monologue, because you have to know he's going to do a monologue by the end of the season.
Yeah, because
just about the original timeline. If he mentions something about a previous version of a previous Flash that could have existed.
Right, know? So if you guys missed our podcast last week, I definitely recommend checking that out. But the Cliff Note version of that is, I think, the original TV show where the actor who plays Barry's father, what's Barry's father's name?
Henry.
Henry was actually the Flash.
The original Flash.
The original Flash, and due to some change in the timeline, his name changed, and like all different things, and so I believe that like that actually happened, and that this is just a continuance of that timeline, but altered and changed in different ways. and because Mark Hamill reprises the role of the Trickster, Barry's father is there. It's just two actors crossing over from the original show. Just it's too coincidental for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if they do tie those two together, it'll be great. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So next week is All-Star Team Up. Barry is surprised when Felicity arrives in Starling City along with her new boyfriend, Ray Palmer, who flies in as the Atom in like a Iron Man type suit. They've come to visit S.T.A.R Labs as Ray needs help with his suit. And I actually think he needs help with something else too. But we'll see if that even is a thing. Their timing turns out to be fortuitous because it's all hands on deck after a meta-human named Grainne Larvin unleashes hundreds of robotic bees to attack and kill her former co-workers at Mercury Labs, including Dr. Tina McGee. A group dinner with Barry, Felicity, Ray, Iris, and Eddie turns into a disaster. Honestly, I can't wait for that. I want to see the disaster.
That sounds pretty great.
Yeah, I want to see the disaster.
That sounds pretty amazing.
And I think I said it in pre-show, Dom, you are going to love Ray.
Yeah.
He is so funny. But in addition to, obviously the synopsis for next week's episode, there were like awesome, amazing promos for the rest of the seasons of Flash and Arrow.
Yeah, that was incredible.
So among all of the things that were in those promos, the one thing that made me scream with like fangirlness was Cisco's wearing his goggles. Ah! Vibe?
Yeah. And we kind of already knew this going in, but so we know Arrow's gonna, he's gonna be in this. Green Arrow's gonna be in this. There was just so many awesome things in this montage of what's to come, and I believe we're just powering through the next episodes. They're going straight through, or are we going on another break?
No, it's just for some reason next week. There don't seem to be any CW
It's probably just due to the Easter holiday, even though it doesn't fall on Easter. I think most shows are just taking a break around then. So
yeah, it says it will air on the 14th, so that's not next week, the week after.
Okay. So, but in other news, there's a lot of talk recently about Arrow Flash spinoff.
Yeah.
So
which one? All right. There's been a lot of rumors. So which one specifically are you talking about?
The one that is going to be literally Arrow and Flash, and it's going to deal. The plot device is mainly going to be dealing with time travel. And
so is this going to be a mid-season show?
I don't know. I'm hoping it's a summer show.
Really? That would be amazing.
It would be. And from what I'm reading, is that it's gonna it's not gonna air until it's gonna air during mid-season. Okay, so
cool.
During the mid-season break, and it says expect the beginnings of season 4 of Arrow and season 2 of The Flash to help set up this series. So.
Okay, cool.
It's going to cross over, and I believe it's going to deal with a lot of villains that have already been killed off or defeated in both of the franchises, so we're going to get to see some old familiar faces.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then there was, I can't find it now, but there was female, was it Hawk Girl or something that I saw?
Please, you can't give me news like this if you're not sure.
Is Hawk Girl a thing? Because if it is, okay, then that's what I read. So.
Oh my god! Listen,
I don't even know who Hawk Girl is. So the fact that I even know that should mean something.
In the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited cartoon TV shows, she was legitimately my favorite. She wields a giant mace. She has wings. She's amazing. I love her so much. If she's going to be in these shows, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, it says Sarah Renee will be playing the role of Hawk Girl.
I got really... I'm okay.
Sierra Renee? I don't know who that is.
Sierra Renee. I don't know who that is either.
That's the actress.
But as we're talking about, spin-offs and things, in the same universe as Flash and Arrow, they're going to have a animated short series called Vixen. It's going to have both Flash and Arrow in it, and Vixen is going to be the main character. That's going to start in the fall of 2015. Wait, that's her?
Yeah.
Oh my god, she's mega cute. I am so excited.
Let's see if I can pull this up.
The excitement. I can't. Oh, it's so good.
Trying to pull
That's
it
all
up
like
for the
verified?
stream here.
That's all verified and stuff?
From what I'm understanding, yes, it is verified.
Beautiful. So, anyway, I was mentioning Cisco's goggles because those are the goggles he wears as Vibe, his alter ego in the comic books. Which, oh yeah, that's she's gonna be Hawk Girl.
Hawk Girl, yeah. Fangirl squee.
I was so excited. I love Hawk Girl, you don't understand. Okay, anyway. And if him get I forgot Grodd. More Grodd. We're gonna get more Grodd.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna like talk to us. It's gonna be awesome. But if Cisco starts making his transition to being Vibe, if it's not just like we're teasing you with these goggles, if it's actually him transitioning to being Vibe, then I think that gives us a little insight on maybe Caitlyn's gonna go a little dark and start making her transition to Killer Frost.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we like upset Team Arrow, Team Flash. I think if we upset Team Flash, there's going to be a lot of feels.
Is Christmas Arrow going to be in the crossover?
Christmas Arrow. No. No. Not next week. Maybe towards the end.
I mean, he was in the Flash when Flash crossed over to Arrow, he was in that.
Yeah.
But not when Arrow crossed over into Flash.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that guy is called. He's Christmas Arrow.
That's Red Arrow. No, he's not Red Arrow. He is Arsenal.
Arsenal. That's right.
Wait. I've been getting very confused because now in Arrow we have a Ray and we have a Roy. I trip over my words now more often than I used to.
Yeah.
Because of that. Thanks, guys. But yeah, no. Super mega awesome things to look forward to. I can't wait for more Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd is going to be good, but I feel like he's going to get squeezed in here. And there's so much stuff going on. I don't know how, because I know he's a huge part of the thing. But with all this stuff happening in the timeline shifting, and like if Barry does go back and save his mother, and Grodd and like all this stuff that they're setting up, I mean, it could carry over into the new timeline, but I don't know. Well,
you're talking like Barry's going to be successful, right?
I think he is.
I do not. I think he's going to go back, try and save his mother, and still fail. Because he has to save himself. And the process, in saving himself, his mother dies. He can't let himself die. So he has to save himself, which means that he's incapable of saving his mother.
No, I know, but he's not incapable, because if he's got the images on the wall, right? The stuff that was caught in the mirror. So he knows all the moves that were made. He knows the whole fight. He knows how it's choreographed. So if he does it differently and does it more expectantly, he could actually stop Reverse Flash.
I mean, I don't think so. I think even if he does things differently, he's still not going to be able to do
it. This is bringing me back to what was the final season of Lost? Was that season 6?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So this is bringing me back to like the season finale, season finale of 5, where they were trying to change the past, and they did something. They did something that I don't want to ruin it for those that haven't seen it, but they did something that it was left open, where it either did change the past or it didn't change the past, and you were left wondering the entire mid-season or the entire break of whether or not the past had been changed. And like, because they had established that the past can't be changed, that whatever happened, but then they did this huge thing, and they're like, well, you fucking broke the timeline now. And what happened was insane, but I think that that's where they're going to leave us here, is Barry's going to change the past, and then it's gonna have this shockwave that's gonna resonate through the next part of the season. And because we already know that the season 2 and season 5 of Arrow, the mid-season, is gonna involve a lot of time travel. I think it's gonna involve the cleanup of this and the reset, basically, to get everything back. So I believe he is in fact going to change it, but I believe at some point he's gonna go back and have to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't want to spoil Flashpoint, but that.
But that.
But that. I don't want to spoil it, but that. So yeah, unless you have anything else to say, I think we're about done here.
Yeah, no, we're pretty much done.
A lot of speculation.
Yeah,
but
quite a bit.
We got a lot of answers. And
we got a lot of answers. We had some actually really good discussion here. Because my head is not hurting, so that means it's a good discussion.
Yeah. Dom, where can the people find you?
Find me down below. Phenomedom, Phenomedom.
Phenomedom. You can find me at Cleomoto on the socials, and you can find me on Twitch at the Cleomoto. And you can find all of us at ASOTV Podcast on Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, Google+, MySpace, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some more podcasts from some of your favorite TV shows. Until next week. Thanks for finally joining in and singing with me, Dom. It's really nice.
Yeah, I figured you'd appreciate it. Now you know what it's like to get talked over.
Oh no, you're misunderstanding me. I actually liked it.
Oh, okay.
It did not bother me at all.